As summer started, the Hero Academia hype train was still going strong into its second core. But elsewhere in the community, something else was turning up the heat during the summer sun, as girls were getting all hot and bothered over a bit of gambling.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas, please. Hold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. I love it.
Kakiguri gave us an entirely new meaning to the phrase poker face, giving us countless scenes of girls finding intense pleasure during a particular activity, showing us that women literally only want one thing. And it's fucking disgusting. Gambling has never been hotter in a gambling show where you don't really even understand the rules of the game everyone is gambling on, but who really cares when you can watch a bunch of hot anime girls come from the orgasmic thought of statistical probability. Oh yeah, normal distribution curve, standard deviation. Yes, despite being a gambling anime, the most entertaining thing was seeing the messed up social hierarchy being torn down from the inside, as the gambling itself was kind of formulaic, and despite the stakes, the tension never felt too high. I mean, the riskiest gamble is whether any guy is willing to bet their dicks to get with one of these girls, as sanity seems to be the most barren resources around these parts. You have the choice between sexy Nyan Cat, fucking nailed it, blue balls on her lips, my longest barker ever, more likely to blow her load in you, and of course, Umaru. The crack core years. However, while this was the main talking point during the season's run, there was another show that at first slipped under the radar, but by the end would stand head and shoulders above the rest. In a time when modern anime fantasy boiled down to the same three overpowered guys being transported to Final Fantasy World of Warcraft X, Made in Abyss took the reins and reminded us just what it should feel like to explore an entirely new world in super chibi death hole extravaganza. While it went mostly unnoticed thanks to its deceptively cute art style and streaming platform, anyone who watched episode 1 would have had their reservations immediately blown away with its breathtaking visuals, wonderful world building, and beautiful soundtrack. It's been such a long time since I've been dropped into a world that completely absorbs me from the get-go, revolving around the exploration of this hole of unknown origin and age, filled with mysterious creatures and phenomenon where no one knows how deep it goes. But to put things into perspective, it can fit at least 3 Toyota Corollas. It's a pit filled with unexplainable phenomenon and many dangers. So of course, with the Abyss being one of the most dangerous places known to man, naturally nothing could ever go wrong with an inexperienced 12-year-old girl wandering around aimlessly. Oh hey, who's that round the corner? Oh, it's Uncle Despair. And look, he's brought Aunt Depression and Cousin Misery. The whole family's here. Yes, despite its art style and light-hearted tone initially, as we descend deeper and deeper into the Abyss, things get weirder, creatures get deadlier, and the environment becomes brutal and unforgiving, and the series does not shy away from showing you this. It's a show with equal parts heart and equal parts horror that's not for the faint of heart, leading to a climax that had me physically ill one moment, then bawling my eyes out the next. This was an emotional roller coaster from start to finish, and definitely one of my picks of the year. In the rest of the summer, Aho Girl turned a girl with obvious mental disabilities literally rolling around and acting like a monkey into a slapstick comedy where we can laugh at the hilarity of a girl too stupid to tie her own shoelaces getting physically beaten repeatedly. In Precious Thoughts, Happy Fun Time Abuse, we got our first taste of a Latin and ballroom dancing show in Welcome to the Ballroom, an anime where the level of someone's dancing skills is directly correlated with the length of their necks. I mean, look at them. These aren't just necks, these are necks. Yeah, I mean, if their necks are these long at the beginning of the series, I can only imagine how long they will become by the end.
And this, what's he doing, is to go even further beyond!
Today Children allowed us to fight over Top Couple by giving us short stories of different couples in various points in their relationship. Yes, that's right, it's an anime where the main focus is on people in relationships, because relationships are this thing that happen after people confess, and this anime shows that life goes on after 2 characters start going out. What? Speaking of couples, My First Girlfriend is a Gal gave a totally accurate representation of how to get a girlfriend by simply begging the girl you want to go out with, which, you know, I don't see anything wrong with, but on the other hand, this is ridiculous. It's totally unrealistic. I mean, who wears black tights on a hot summer's day? Really? See, it's just little inaccuracies like this that just take you out the experience. Gamers gave us an anime not actually about gaming, but instead gave us a hilarious romantic comedy where the laws of the universe lead to every misunderstanding as physically possible in Misunderstandings, the anime. That also coincidentally has people who play games. Of course, we got an isekai trifecta just when you thought we'd explored everything the concept could have given us. This time we have another world but with Gordon Ramsay. Another world but this time I have a smartphone. No, I swear to God I'm not running out of ideas. And another world but I was a gunpla nerd, so that makes me a genius engineer able to build any completely overpowered mech in a second. Wait, how does that make any fucking sense? Oh, who cares? Here, have some more giant robots. The power fantasies continued as Classroom of the Elite gave us a main character bored enough to phase out of existence, fucking about in a fictional dystopian school where you're taught to believe that your entire life's worth correlates to how well you do in exams. Which sounds entirely accurate. And Fate Apocrypha added yet another series to the Fate franchise just because, you know, the entire universe needed a little expanding with the small amount of titles it already has. And see, it all makes sense in the grand canon of everything. There's definitely room to add 50 plus new characters into the mix without getting it confusing. I mean, just look at this character, Shiro Kotomine, who looks like an exact mix of Shiro Emiya and Kirei Kotomine, but he doesn't actually have anything to do with either of them, which makes perfect sense. I mean, why would he have any relation when he only looks exactly like them and shares their name? And of course you have Saber's son, Mordred, who's actually a girl, even though she's meant to be the son of King Arthur, who's also actually a girl in the Fate-verse, who somehow got another girl pregnant to have their son, who's a girl. It makes perfect sense.
Hi, son. Hi, Dad. Why are you a girl? Why are you a girl? Well, this is a bit awkward. I have so many questions. Since when did you... I was just lying to you the entire time. That makes no sense. I'm pretty sure I would have noticed you having a penis when you came out of your mom. Well, I'm pretty sure Mom would have noticed your lack of penis when you got her pregnant with me. Touché.
With the temperature coming down and fall just around the corner, there was a lot of hype with fan favorites getting sequels, old gems being revived, and prominent source material being adapted. But despite all that, one show was able to make itself heard above all others. Because it was pretty fucking loud. After the era of the big three, it's only with the rise of My Hero Academia that the shonen genre has risen back to prominence. And with no real standout show, Black Clover screamed its way into the spotlight. God, I can't fucking do this. Being hyped up as the new king of shonen before immediately falling flat on its loud, screaming face. This was thanks to the initial premise being a melting pot of every unoriginal shonen cliche you can think of, and of course Asta's portrayal, whose name is not spelled like that, but actually spelled like that. Yes, the peculiar decision to make Asta a human caps lock machine was something the community immediately latched onto because, like, it was a bit annoying. Ensuring that any newcomer would be immediately turned off before they even had a chance to complain about the rest of the mediocrity found in the first few episodes. I've already talked extensively about the series' introductory faults and the awful pacing keeping it from the more entertaining moments found in the manga. But after 12 episodes, those problems are still very prevalent, so let's just leave it at that. It's been a bad adaptation with bad pacing, and yeah, his screams are annoying, but let's just forget about them like the nightmare that they were. Elsewhere in fall, going down sequel lane, 3 shows I highly rated got continuations in Takegai Sensen and beyond. Food Whores, The Third Orgy, and March Stumbles In Like a Drunk Pisshead. Continuing on with more of what made them great. Donald Trump, seen here making anime great again, had a cameo in Inuyasha Shiki, following the story of an old man who gets turned into RoboCop, reinventing his life as he becomes a superhero of justice with his foil on the other side, using his powers for destruction and chaos. It's a battle of good versus evil, light versus dark, heroes versus villains, all building up to the epic showdown of 2 grown men playing cowboy with each other in the middle of the park. Yes. We got a taste of the good old incest switcheroo with A Sister's All You Need, which despite the name isn't an incest anime at all, but it's just a slice of life gag show about an author who loves writing about little sisters. So you see, it's not that weird at all. Isn't that right, Miss Thirsty-chan. Studio Wits gave us a bit more fantasy as the ancient Magus Bride put the magic back into magic with a traditional fantasy set in ye olde London in the mysterious Tube Zone 9 3/4. It was a delightful show, enveloping us in a world in such pleasant subjects like impressionable underage girls being taken away by mature bony men for wife training, the awkward initial glorification of human slavery and a master-slave relationship, and fantastical creatures like dragons and this ridiculously aesthetic cat. Seriously, this cat is better looking than most people I know. If she were to be any prettier, we'd go into... Oh no. Oh no. We got a whole host of Edge, with 2 shows managing to stand out above the rest. But of course, only one can hold the title of Edgelord of the season, so there's only one way we can settle this. It's time for an Edge battle! Welcome to Edge Battle. Here we pit shows against each other in a hypothetical death tournament to see who can survive and become the next Mirai Nikki. In one corner, we have Juni Taisen, a death tournament with characters based around the Chinese zodiac written by the Monogatari series author. Yes, the Edge was certainly strong in this one with gruesome, bloody fights and a cast of weird, quirky, one-dimensional characters. But it has its work cut out today, as on the other side we have King's Game, a good old death game where the participants have to follow any rule given from the king. We have it all, folks. Blood, rape, more rape, and of course people nonsensically killing themselves with scenes so poorly written the entire thing turned into a hilarious comedy that could have rivaled most sitcoms.
I'm begging you, damn it! Sleep with Chibi!
I can't! There's no way! Ah! I won't! Will you just let me die with some honor?
Do it while he's unconscious.
Yes, with that, the contestants are set and we are ready to let them go. And the winner of Edgiest Show of the Season goes to... Yuri on Ice! On the other side of the spectrum, Girls Last Tour gave a soothing experience of 2 cute moe girls exploring a post-apocalyptic world, sprinkled with some light philosophy. Its thoughtful, atmospheric tone about people journeying on a motorcycle is reminiscent to 2003's Kino's Journey, of a thoughtful, atmospheric anime of a person journeying on a motorcycle, which is weird because that makes it a better Kino's Journey adaptation than Kino's Journey 2017 that's also aired this season. Neo Yokio gave us an anime experience set in the labyrinths of Jaden Smith's mind, giving us the wokest anime experience in existence, showing us that with enough money and connections you can do anything, even make your dreams come true and make the most elaborate and expensive shitpost of all time. Land of the Lustrous broke all conventions by making a CG anime that looks good. No, seriously, it looks good. It looks really, really good. It's not just above average, it's not just good looking for CG, it is legit one of the best looking shows this season and... Uh-oh.
You gotta get out of there! There's been a good looking CG anime! The universe has been thrown off balance!
Quick, throw in more Berserk 2017! Recovery of an MMO Junkie gave an accurate portrayal of socially awkward female gamers in the story of a 30-year-old woman quitting her job to find her true passion and friends in the online world. While a pleasant thought, I can't help but think that it's a bit irresponsible. I mean, where's this story supposed to go? Does she find that she wants to express her passion in another way? Then she makes a YouTube channel, then she gets obsessed with it. Then she quits her well-paying, respectable job she spent 4 years of university studying for to make stupid videos online for a living. The community were up in arms about Blendes, asking what does S stand for? Sure enough, it surfaced, starting the story of Sakura no Miya, as she is scouted into Stile, sadistic though she is, a suitable specimen to situate herself in a superfluous shack of sisters, tsunderes, senpais and surprises, selling the sweetest of snacks with sterling services. This story, a slice of life, silly as swallows, showcased such simple, stimulating satisfaction, staging some side-splitting shenanigans stylishly supported by stars, signifying a sprightly, spunky, spirited show that is surefire to spring a smile. So, in summation, S stands for Suck My Big Fat... Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale launched off this year in anime films. That's right, check out that seamless segue, giving thousands of viewers the thing they've been hoping to see out of the franchise for all these years. A good movie. Asuna's Nipples. Studio Shaft gifted us with Uchiage Hanabi, a movie that was hyped up thanks to its gorgeous music video, which after release was certainly met with a reception. But obviously the biggest problem was that this girl's hair color is Senjagahara purple, which is blatantly breaking terms of services, so we in the Senjagahara Union will be pressing charges. The Hollywood adaptation of Ghost in the Shell got released through its whitewashing controversy, and following the history of anime fans getting upset over live-action films, I can safely say that this is one of the most okay cinema experiences I've ever had. I mean, thinking about it just makes me go, ugh! God, it's just so adequate! Whitewashing, however, was only one of the concerns with Netflix's Death Note, as instead of just doing basic whitewashing, they decided to do some pussy edgelord fuckboy dear god this is worse than emo Spider-Man washing, undoing the lights you know in a single scream, though, to be fair, this movie's lights did see something absolutely terrifying. And finally, Pokemon I Choose You made news within the community as hordes of fully grown adults were reduced to a state of shell shock in a moment, encapsulated by the most relatable "the fuck" in history.
Why won't you get more Pokeball? It's because...
Capping off the year that gave us more Chibi Potter, more Lolly Hitler, more Chinese diarists wearing more
Tiny miniskirts!
more children of Boruto's dad, more penguin waifus in a year of more thick dragons, more thick necks, more thick tits, and no truck wrecks. More happy relationships, more real relationships, more depressing relationships with more misunderstandings just in time for more lolly despair. A very loud Asta shouting Sasagaya with too many words beginning with S. More Rakugo, more Shogi, more CG chains, more CG pain, more CG shame, and finally some good CG came. More Robocop, more Jaden Smith, more transported to a fantasy world, a fantasy world, a fantasy world, and just one transported to a normal world. More death games against more death tournaments against more tsundere junk food for more incest authors cause anime is trash and so am I. More Gamelgasms, more cute philosophies, so many more fates, and finally, more Tournament Talks! That was anime in 2017. Hope you had a great year, and I will see you in 2018. Million subs, boys! We fucking did it! Thank you so much for getting us here, on New Year's Eve no less. If you told me I would have hit 1 million by the end of the year at the start of last year, I wouldn't have fucking believed it. It's been a crazy year, so thank you for sticking with me through this journey. Cheers to another fantastic year in 2018. I'd like to thank my editor Bucketshift, who has been through hell this past week getting these 2 videos out, my girlfriend Sidsnap, who helped at the last minute, and Dcidia, Baron J, and Sebastian Todd, who all provided voices at like the drop of a hat. Now I hope you have a great new year, as I'm gonna have some much needed rest. Happy fucking New Year's!